I think we're live. Oh, God, I got something in my eye here. I was out doing leaves today. I got so much freaking dirt and dust and schmeg around. I could feel it, like gritty. You know. What do we got here? Can you hear me okay? Is this all the way up? Check, check, check. Yeah, tone clamp's working. We got Deanna, Stretch CPO, Tim Doog, Browns fan, Calvin, Jimmy, Freed, Allgrain, Candlepin, Papa Blue, Billy, Scott, Yeti Matzi, Trolls. Yeah, I know the red one is the nice one, the Jack Butler, you know. Sorta. Jack Butler has a more flake in it, but similar, very similar. Who else do we have? Jay Schaff, Dave, Sprocket Man. Yeah, harder to rake leaves after snow, and they're talking we might get a little bit of snow this week, so I wanted to get it out. What's up, speaker? Loud and clear, that's good to hear. GM Builds, Telemaster, John, Tony, what's up, buddy? Sound is good for you. Tone clamp is still working. Good to hear. They're moving my frets on me. What's up, Zach? Christopher, hello. Blackjack guitar. I think I saw Charles go by real quick there. Thanks, Dave. This is the new Jackson Pro Origin 1985. And last night I went to my high school reunion for the class of 85. This would have been the year I graduated high school. The 85. What a year. I feel like if you go back and look at the photographic evidence, that was max glam, right? If you look at Kiss, if you look at Motley Crue, right? If you look at pretty much any of the bands, the glam factor, like full-on pink spandex, it peaks at about 1985. By 87, even like Motley Crue has begun a sort of a darker look. Kiss, like slowly begins to get away from the full-on glam look. It peaks in '85. Just go back and look at the photos. It's '85. You know, that's the... You know? Right, they did that cover of Smoking in the Boys' Room, which of course I remember as a single before they covered it. I go, no way, they're covering this tune? Yeah, my wife had hers last night at her high school. We both graduated the same year. What's up, Ian? What's up, Blue Mox? James, if I didn't say you already. Proto, Shammy Whammy. Yeah, what a year. The reunion bring back any stories you can share? Not really. You know what? It was expensive. Even my wife was like, that seems kind of ridiculously expensive. She was paying $20 and it was being held at like a Hilton. But not really. The guy didn't rent a ballroom or anything. It was just kind of in the lounge, so maybe that was it. This guy rented like the Elks Lodge, which I will say had been completely done over, and it was very modern. It did not look like that from the outside. I was like, oh my God, I'm ready for paneled walls and friggin' moose heads. And no, it had a complete makeover, so it was pretty modern inside. And they had a full, it was a cash bar, but it was a full food spread. They had a DJ and they had a photographer, so you could go over with, your friends into this big booth, and it wasn't even really a booth, it was like an area set up in the corner with a big, like screen behind it. And they would take your group photos or whatever. And a lot of people were using that. So, but that was $75. My wife was like, 75. When was the peak of Pink guitars? I don't think you saw really a ton of Pink in the 80s. Pink came later as like a retro remembrance of what the 80s was like. Right? And don't forget, there was sort of like a vintage revival. I remember the only Pink guitar I really remember was Jeff Beck's. Right? The one that Tina Turner scratched her name into. That was really the only one that I really remember. What really happened is that the shell Pink of the vintage era sort of came back, and Pink guitars really had a heyday again. It was so funny. I, ran into a lot of people, and I like to flex my memory skills sometimes. I saw this girl. I said, yeah, you used to wear a shirt that said "Life's a Beach." She was like, oh my God, I remember that shirt. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, Theater of Pain was Pink, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You think Warren, Trickster, any of those bands, right? They had Pink guitars. But I don't remember that so much. I remember, of course, what's his name? I always thought was a quintessential 80s guitar was Paul Stanley's like leopard print BC Rich, right? Pretty 80s. And of course, you know who played the pink guitars would be Vinnie Vincent. God, I have something in my friggin' eye. It is killing me here. Come on. What do you got in there? Get out. There's something in there. It is killing me here. My eye. My doctor said I shouldn't get anything in it. Anyone knew you had a YouTube channel? Yeah, some people who used to be. It was so funny because I saw a bunch of people. Hey, how's it going? Oh, good to see you. Yeah, blah blah blah. Hey man, great to see you. Oh yeah, good again. Shaking hands, you know, seeing various people. Oh yeah, you know, I had you in like my psychology class. And she was like, I took psychology. I said, you did. And you were in the class. And then I saw some people from my old neighborhood. I saw Rosanna first. And I went up to her. It's like, hey, she was like, oh my fucking God, I fucking can't believe you're fucking here. Have you seen fucking Sherry? And she's fucking over there. I was like, oh yeah, sure. I go over to see her and she goes, look who's fucking here. She was like, oh my fucking God. What the fuck? How's it been 40 fucking years? I'm like, oh yeah, I know, I know. That's my neighborhood. Oh, I was dying. I was like, sure. It's like, you know, people say, you know, there's a ton of swearing in Good Will Hunting. I'm like, that is what kids sounded like. That is some of the most accurate dialogue I've ever heard in a friggin' movie. That's pretty much it. Yeah, Vinnie Vincent Invasion. I feel like he was doing a ton of Pink Jackson style guitars at that time. Yeah, Poison and Twisted Sister, the two big. You know, but I'll say this: I never saw Poison, but I did see Twisted Sister a couple of times. I saw them once in a club, and I saw them once at the Worcester Centrum. And both times, it would be unfair to say they didn't put on like a really fantastic show. And Dee Snider was funny, and we were just, I was like, am I enjoying this show? I think it was like Dawkins, Y&T, Twisted Sister. I think Y&T was the headliner. I think it was Dawkins, then Twisted Sister, and then Y&T. Yesterday and today, right? Because they were the ones that had a friggin' kind of a song on the radio. Summertime Girls. You know? Classic South. Yeah, my God. People are like, you know, yeah, but people in real life don't talk about like that. I'm like, oh, I assure you they do. I assure you. Listen, you just listen to friggin' Nuno Betancourt. You know, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a Nuno Betancourt level of swearing. And I worked in a garage for many years, and you want to talk about picking up foul language. I work in a friggin' auto body shop or an auto repair shop for any period of time. Yeah, Y&T was a good band. I feel like they only had... I feel like it was kind of weird because Dawkins had a little rise in popularity for a while, but I really feel like the one that was the dark horse who turned out to have quite the career was Twisted Sister. And if you look at any of the Dee Snider interviews, he was talking with, I guess, probably Howard Stern. And he was like, how do you, can you make a living off of, because he's like, how many hit songs did you have? And he said 2. We're Not Gonna Take It, and I Wanna Rock. He goes, and we have sold those songs over and over and over again, and you can make a living. He goes, they use them in a lot of commercials. They've been used in countless movies. He goes, we've earned quite a living. And I think Dee Snider, I don't know if they have an equal writing, but certainly Dee Snider has, I think, a writing credit. And that's really where the money comes in, the writing credits. You saw Keel at Narcissus. I saw Keel at the Bayside Expo Center. There was a car show, I think. And Keel was playing the car show. And you know who else played? Meatloaf. Meatloaf and special guest Keel. Yeah, he was a Stern Show staple. Yeah, he's been interviewed there. It wasn't that long ago. Maybe 10 years, within the last 10 or 15 years. He was at Sirius because it was pretty recent. He's like, you've been around for so long. Can you still make money off those songs? He's like, oh yeah. Oh no, we're making money off those songs. All the power to him. But I will say when I saw them both times, they were just high energy and, and they just, they were funny. They kind of understood what they were. It's like they were taking themselves seriously, but there was always, like when I saw Wasp, right? It's like they're kind of taking themselves seriously, but not really, right? Sweetwater sends you ads, but they won't ship anything to you, right? Because you're outside the states. Is Ron Keel a country musician? To be honest, I don't even know. Yeah, I haven't seen you since high school. Some people, well, a lot of them I'd say, I haven't seen you since the last reunion. We missed our 2020, right? Our last one was 2015, which I don't even think I went to. I think I went to 2005 and 2010, and that was it. Guys doing some Christmas shopping. I got a few things done. I like to take advantage of the sales. Have you seen RAM prices? It is frickin' insane. So the last we talked, The RAM I paid $79 for over the summer when I built my system. I paid $79. When I built my daughter's a few weeks ago, thank God I bought it when I did, because the price had gone up to $129. So $79 to $129, that's like a $50 increase, you know? It's a nice little chunk of change right there. Then I think the last time I talked to you, that price had gone to $219. It was $509 today. Hello, Chico. $509 for the same exact RAM I got her. If you're willing to take a little bit lesser stick, maybe something a little bit slower, there's a lot on there between, say, $290 and maybe $330, $350. But the exact sticks I got her and that I'm using in my system are they want $509 because it's a third-party seller, because they're out of stock, and he's just gouging. Just gouging. Yeah, it's like $900 for 64 gigs. So this, I'm talking about 32 gigs they were quoting for those two sticks of 16, $509. That is that's eye-watering. That's what, even without something in my friggin' eye. So my wife, I built my daughter her system. I probably spent a good, probably about $1,200, maybe even $13 with tax on that system. But it's loaded. She even said the other day, she's like, my computer is amazeballs. She goes, that thing is really fast. I said, yeah, well, you're coming off, an older system. So you went from, 8 cores and 16 threads to 20 cores and 20 threads, because they don't even use hyperthreading any longer. Right? So it's just a much faster. She goes, it is just so much faster. So she's super happy. So we said, I told my wife, I said, now, you got to remember that the laptops that are on the shelf right now were built months ago. Well, under the old pricing scheme, right? They're going to run out of that stuff. And when you go to buy a laptop, they say it's going to affect the price of phones. It's going to affect the price of, anything that has memory chips in it. So my wife was like, what should for my son, what are you going to do? I said I would get him a laptop, because this laptop's a few years old now. And if you don't get it now, it could be a good year to 2 years before things come back down again. Things go up very quickly and come down very slowly. So there's been a 500% increase in like 8 weeks. That's not going to just suddenly drop down. There's going to have to be a glut for people to start slashing prices, because they need to get cash rolling in. That's what it's going to take. So we're not even close to that. So we got him a laptop. I said, you should just buy it now, because I don't think it's a loaded laptop. It's an i9. It's got OLED, it's not 4K, but it's like 3K. It's sort of like that middle one. And it's 2 terabytes of 5th gen storage, and 32 gigs of RAM, and it's really nice. And it was normally like almost $1,600, and she got it for $999 on a Black Friday sale. I said, you should get this, because I think RAM prices are they're just gonna trickle out to all of these other devices, and you're not gonna get it this cheap next year, or even for his birthday. And just tell him it's for both Christmas and his birthday, even though his birthday is in May. Sure. AI is hitting PCs harder than C19. I think so. Certainly because they're just, people were buying up chips back then because they were bored. They were stuck at home, right? And so, I'll build a computer. That'll kill some time, right? AI, the cost of the AI chips and all that stuff is so high that it became attractive. All they had to do is figure out, how can we use off-the-shelf components to run these AI models? Once they figured that out, by coming up with some sort of, they almost had like a custom version of Linux. Then it became a target. It became a target for all these AI guys that want to set up AI farms. Just like they used to have friggin'... You gotta remember when crypto was going crazy too. People were buying up all the GPUs. Couldn't get a GPU for like almost 5 years. Wasn't at MSRP. Only now. And they actually might go up because there's RAM chips on the friggin' video cards. Right? So you can't escape it. So many things have RAM chips. The RAM chips are on the friggin' video cards that, even though they finally got the video cards after like 5 friggin' years of completely inflated prices, finally get back to MSRP just because, eventually they had enough stock that it made more supply out there than demand, and prices fell back to earth again. But RAM, man, sucks. Done deal, pal. Went to a local techno shop yesterday. Black Friday sales, nothing worth buying. Yeah. Could you make some Tonex plug stuff for us? Maybe. I haven't messed with the Tonex plug since I made the video. I've been too busy. But I'll take a look. I got a break coming up because the last guitar of the week will be, I think, December 15th. So that'll be coming out. That's the big season finale. And then I don't think it resumes until, I think it's January 19th. Is that right? Let's take a look at the old calendar here. Yeah, the 15th is the last show, and it returns on the 19th of January. I don't have Tonex on this machine. I have it on the other machine that I was using to get the plug going. I don't have the plug here, actually. It's over on another desk, but this is THU. Seen some good Black Friday deals at Sweetwater. They have the Friedman Diesel mini heads for $99. Really, $150 off. That's pretty good. Normally $250, and they're $100. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, Gibson's doing. What do I have here? So I wrote down. I think Vola. Let's call up the old interwebs here. I think Vola's having a sale. Could have sworn I got an email. I'm on there. I'm on the email. Yeah. I don't want to sign up and see. Right there. Yeah. Save 10% store-wide with code BFCM10 at checkout. So, Black Friday sale right there. So, and I think it's site-wide. So you can get little savings right there. Who else? So, Vola had it. I have a link in the description for Vola, too. Make it easy for you. I think Gibson. They had, Black Friday deals. They're not on every, like these are, those are like little ukuleles, right? Like little 3 strings. I don't even know what that is. But they're doing some things that so that's 31% off. That's probably, yeah, that's Epiphone. Right, that's Epiphone. They're doing Kramers. They got some Kramers at 20% off. That's Gibson. Well, you can see the branding right there. That's a Gibson, and that is 20% off. So they get some stuff. Another Kramer 20% off. Kramer 20% off. Epiphone 31% off. So there's some sales out there. This is Epiphone 7% off. So again, it depends on it. 7% off. 20% off for the Gibson SG. Gibson Acoustic 20%, 20%. So, you know, they're out there. They get some stuff. You can get the hoodie. That's like 50% off, right? That's pretty good. And again, 20%. So, you know, there's a few things. Who else? I want to say, although you can't, you can't get them here. Yeah. 15 to 20% off on the thank you sale. But I think these are dealers, right? They don't sell direct. So 20% off the SE, 15% off S2 and bolt-on, 15% off core. Yeah, you have to go to an authorized PRS dealer, right? Yeah. They don't do direct sales, as far as I know. So that's nice, right? A little bit. You know, no, a little bit. Not too bad. I'm trying to think of anything else. Anybody in the? Yeah, DiMarzio. Pickups. All right. Hello. Oh yeah. 25% site-wide. And let me let you in on a little secret with DiMarzio. I feel like DiMarzio starves their friggin' dealers. A lot of times when I want a pickup, the only friggin' place I can get the pickup is at DiMarzio. Right? You know, do you have them at Guitar Center? Nope. Do you have them at Sweetwater? Nope. Do you have them at, like, you know, any Zion? Nope. No, we don't care. The only place I can get the freaking pickup is if I go and buy it directly from DiMarzio. So, at least if you want it in stock, they have a placeholder on those sites. They just don't have it in stock, you know, on back order. You know, be the first to get it when it comes in. But I can go to DiMarzio and they're in stock. So yeah, offer valid till December 1st. Well, I still have it in my head. I think Suno, our awesome, can I go to, I guess not. Yeah. I thought there was a, oh, yeah. So, check this out. I found it. Can I frickin'... Thank you. Manage your Suno plan. If you notice there, it's like 40% off. So, I think it's like... the annual plan... The annual plan would be like, I want to say it's like $175. So, you know, I'll let you in on a little secret. Unless you have a paid plan, like I'm on the Premier plan, but unless you're on the Pro or the Premier, the free plan, part of the terms of the settlement with Warner Brothers and Universal Music Group was that free accounts could no longer download the music they created. Because people are whipping up free accounts, they're uploading pre-made they're uploading, popular songs, having them converted into another style. Let's take Taylor Swift and make it heavy metal. Let's take Iron Maiden and make it, bubblegum pop. And those are, been sort of the bane of the labels. They've been, and that site I was going to, remember that? What was it called? Like Fake Music. Like all the Iron Maiden songs gone. All the Oasis songs gone. So someone cracked down on that guy's page, on his channel, because I would say half his content is history. It's just a matter of time. So I think in the very near future, those free accounts, they're not going to allow you to download the song. It can only be published on Suno, and that's it. And if you want to download the song and have your own use of it, you're going to have to be on one of the paid plans. So I can just tell you this. I am loving friggin' Suno. It's very frustrating when you wanted to do something very specific. It's still like trying to work a puppet with frickin', a leaf blower. But it's pretty awesome, actually. Because I can whip up a tune real quick and play along with it. I can tell it the key I want it to play. I can literally tell it the chords. I could play a little something on the guitar, Upload just that, and it would write a whole song around it. So, I don't know, man. I'm getting a lot of value out of it. But, I think once they get rid of downloading on the free tier, then they'll see probably a lot of growth. Because anyone who gets used to making stuff on there, it's so amazing. Some of the songs they come up with, man, they are just friggin' awesome. Yeah, the free stuff had to end at some point. Yeah. You got to start putting the most desired features behind the paywall. Suno is the best one. I would say so. If I showed artwork to my daughter, she would go AI. Video, you can almost say like AI. I played her the song. She was like, this doesn't sound like AI. This sounds pretty damn good. I was like, I know. No, they're getting there. And eventually the imagery and the video will get there too. People can fight it all they want, but this is where it's headed. In fact, I was talking to someone who had written a book about caring for their aging parents, someone I was talking to last night at the reunion. And, she's pulling the stuff into large language models and filtering it down and getting all kinds of, and it's citing it, it's scholarly work. It's such a friggin' time saver. And, there was another dude there who does a lot of, website work. And he said AI for generating code. He goes, it's incredible. Because, you can whip up, it knows what you want, and you can whip the code up so freaking fast. He's like, you can just crank out. He goes, it's such a freaking time saver. When it comes to making the music, right? It would take me so long to record a drum track, to get everything going, to record the bass guitar, record the backing stuff. Or I can have Suno make it in like 90 seconds and have an instant backing track to play over. So, it's, people thought the piano was going to end the symphony, right? What What was the other one? There were a couple of predictions that were just way off. But that it was going to end this thing, and it never did. Yeah, the crappy AI videos will get better, though. It's just, it takes a lot more data processing to make video than just audio. A lot more. So, it's just, it'll take a while. It's going to get there. I just looking where it was a year or two ago to where it is now, it is just, it's meteoric. It's hockey stick growth, right? Just massive, massive. It's crazy. Oh my God, yeah, right, Dave? Drum machines were the end of drummers. Were they, though? They said MIDI would be the end of keyboard players because you would just have the computer play the keyboard. You know? People were predicting that every guitar would have both an output jack and a MIDI jack. MIDI is taking over. It'll all be MIDI soon. And you'll just plug your guitar into your synthesizer and have a whole world of this whole palette, you know, available to you at your fingertips. Nope, didn't happen. Oh my God, 3D TV. I remember people telling me I'd get used to it because 3D TV is here and it is not going away. Oh, really? Yeah? Oh, is 3D TV here forever? How'd that work out? Exactly. The drum machines are in thrift shops. And the drummers, well, they're working behind the counter at the thrift shop. It's a tricky profession. Yeah, recorded music will destroy all musical ability. Yeah, absolutely. They thought color TV was going to end people going to movie theaters. Why would you go to a movie theater if you could see a color, you know, if you could see it at home, right? Yeah, Betamax. God. And the big fight between them and VHS. Yeah, synths killing pianos. People, they still buy pianos. I mean, granted, 3D TV was the biggest gimmick ever, yeah. Oh, man. I mean, you talk to some people, and they were like, I can tell you one thing for sure. 3D TV is here to stay. Oh, is it? Sure. Yeah, how'd that work out? Why not use AI for new hardware drum machines? Just pass it, yeah. Well, eventually you will see that. The problem with AI right now is it's incredibly computer intensive, right? What is seemingly impossible and on the bleeding edge of technology today is on your wristwatch in 20 years, right? That's how this all works. And actually, speaking of that, they were talking about the biggest, like, what do I want to say? The biggest, rapid, the most rapid decline in street price. And the two that were out there were the calculator, which when it first came out was like, what, $750? You know, $600-700 for a calculator. And then they were suddenly, right, you get one for like $10. And then the other was the digital watch. Digital watches went from being like a super premium, super expensive item to you got one free with a fill up at a gas station. You want the calculator or the watch? Free with a fill up. Remember that? Remember you used to get free shit if you filled your tank? Oh, those were the days. No, nothing's here to stay. Even us, especially us. Your phone will be around a lot longer than you. Somewhere. Saw a hologram TV ad in a mag back in the 80s. Yeah, you know what? You throw shit against the wall and you see what sticks. You never know. People thought 3D was going to stick. You know, it was really popular for a hot minute there, but it went away. What sucks is there are definitely movies like, you know, that were all 3D centric that are just, you know, cheap 3D tricks, like through the whole friggin' movie. Yeah, exactly. Digital pets in your wristwatch in the 90s. Right. Yeah, $5 calculator watches, exactly. Just merge them together. I had a calculator watch. I had a Casio. I had a Casio that could dial a phone. It could, you know, beep, boop, bop, boop, 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 like right out of your phone. That's helped me a couple of times. If the phone didn't work, could get a dial tone, but you couldn't place a call. And I placed the call with using my phone. Beep, boop, bop, boop, boop. Worked. Yeah, $1,000 VCRs when they came out. I like Frank Zappa. I wasn't crazy about his guitar playing, but man, really, to me, his masterpiece is Joe's Garage. It's just an absolute, the central scrutinizer, you know, to enforce laws that haven't been passed yet. And just that whole thing, it was, I just love that album. Joe's Garage, I just thought was a masterpiece. I don't really, I never had like Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch or Chic Your Booty, or I don't think I had any of his, The Mothers of Invention. I don't think I had any of the other. The only one I think I remember that I really had and just loved was Joe's Garage, and that was it. I saw Frank Zappa, and I got his autograph, and I shook his hand. He didn't talk though. He was sort of limp fish, you know. But he did sign my ticket stub, F. Zappa. My mother probably threw it out. And what was his, he had one hit. Dancing Fool, right? Was that his big hit? You're a dancing fool. I may be totally wrong, but I'm a dancing fool. I may be totally wrong, but I'm a... Oh yeah, Quentin James just signed up for Suno. It's, I tell you, man, I freaking love it. I have, I'm in deep. I forget. It's just so easy to whip up a track and then learn it. And I just get a lot of value just playing, along with this stuff. It's been great. I think it's an A. Was it? There's a coffee talk. Things your mother threw out. Oh my God, so much. Yeah. Why does it hurt when I pee? And he has. If I forget, I'd have to go back and listen to the song, but I think he has like these like tinkle bells to represent the tinkling, right? And then like a bit of a scream, right? I got it from the toilet seat. Right now I'm working on your way through the solo guitar stuff like Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, yeah. I saw him it was 2 nights, Friday night and Saturday night. And if you look at the 2 sets, the Friday night and the Saturday night set, it is not even close. That Friday night set is amazing. And in fact, I believe some people, if you look on some of the boards, they consider that Friday night at the Orpheum Theater one of the best nights on the tour. Because I remember him saying that there was like a mistake. He went, oh, whoa, well, I guess we're going extended tonight. Someone's had, made a mistake. He heard something, and he was like, whoa, okay, I guess we're going late tonight. And man, they did whipping post. I think it might have been one of the only times they did whipping post on the whole friggin' tour. He hadn't really been doing it any longer. One of my favorite tunes that they do is their cover of Whipping Post. They did Lucille. They did Catholic Girls, I think. They might have done Why Does It Hurt When I Pee? They did a bunch of stuff off of Joe's Garage that I was very familiar with. And at the end of the night, they did the Stairway to Heaven cover, where the horn section plays the guitar solo. Shockingly good, note for note. And it is just, it's something to behold. So I just feel like I just lucked out. Though, the night I got to, I had like third row. I was right down front. It was Mike Keneally on guitar. And they were all just milling about on the stage, and there was no opening act. And then all of a sudden, I saw a bunch of people running down. What the hell's going on? Frank was sitting at the end of the stage signing autographs. I jumped up and ran down with my ticket. He signed my ticket and shook my hand, and I went back to my seat. I said, I'm really looking forward to the set. He was like, beat it, you drunk. He didn't say anything, but I could see he had a look of, yeah, anyway, get away from me. You could pick from almost 100 songs, yeah. Yeah, they were well-versed. I think he, like you said, he could whip out any number, whatever the hell he felt like. And we got a really good night. In fact, there was a lot more songs the night I went than the next night at the same venue. Right? Because the set list is out there. You can see, especially for Zappa. It's like, geez, I wonder what the Fish set list was that night. I wonder what the Grateful Dead set list was. Oh, I can tell. Oh, we have that. That's fully archived. Right? Zappa had, the archival following for sure. That's good coffee. You don't understand the fascination or the interest in making AI songs? I can tell you. Because you can whip up something that's not just okay. You can actually whip something that's pretty damn good very quickly. And if you're a musician, Lord knows if I had to come up with like writing jingles or something like that, oh my God. It's all set. Until the people that are hiring you can figure out they can do it too. But, man, you can come up with the lyrics. And you save your copyright right there. And, you could even, upload a little bit of, melody, or you could download something that has no melody. You could create the melody and create a copyrightable item, right? Because you can't copyright a chord progression. So have it whip up a bunch, you could have it whip through a chord progression, come up with your own melody, write your own lyrics. There you go. It's, you hearing crackling? Yeah? Check, 1, 3. That might be on your end. I don't hear it in my my ears. Nashville songwriters use it. Yeah, because, so my Christmas song, once it comes out, I'll go over the whole journey, but it was all over the place, right? It's kind of starts here, but it's like it's working, but it's not really working. I try this one better, but it's not really a guitar-oriented song. That's not going to work. This one, I really like the vocals on this. I like how they're treating the vocals on it, but the guitar is not like my style of guitar. I don't really know it. And then finally, it was sort of taking one genre and making a cover song of that using another genre. And it was like, oh, that's good. Oh, I like that. I can work with this. I can work with this. And then going through and learning the tune, right? Which is pretty simple. And then modifying it a little bit. You give it kick in a little bit of flavor, a little flav. And then there you go. Sounds good there, good. Just mentioned beer, trucks, and fishing in that order. Beer, truck, and fishing tonight. Beer, truck, and fishing. Woohoo! That's my next big hit. Beer, truck, and fishing. Yeah, I like the Jackson. It's the Pro Origins, 1985. Oh, what a year. What a year. Doesn't sound right. There it is. I just need a new pick. Did I adjust the pickups? No, not on this one. I have adjusted pickups on some of them sometimes because they just, I'm like, okay, who worked on this? What maniac worked on this guitar? And, yeah, I'll feed Suno those 3 words: beer, trucks, and fishing. And there you go. Five years ago, looking at Steve. Hey, welcome back. Yeah. Is that Billy? Oh yeah. Black leather and spandex pants. It was the style at the time. We said this, when we look back later, will not look oh my God, it looks ridiculous. Of course, at the time, we were like, yeah. Met Jeff Loomis at Guitar Center. You know, he reached out to me on Facebook years ago, in like I forget now, 2016, 2017, something like that. And he was like, hey man, what kind of mic do you use, man? Your guitar sounds good. And he's like, I'm a big fan of your playing. And I was like, if this is Robert Baker, I am going to punch you right in the head at the NAMM show. Like, my spidey sense was like, is this really Jeff? But it was him. It was Jeff Loomis. And I wound up seeing him at NAMM. And we exchanged phone numbers. But I don't text him because, you know, I'm not that guy. So, I leave him alone. How was your Thanksgiving? It was pretty good. So, you know, we were supposed to go to this place, which we wound up going to days earlier. We went to go to this buffet that we normally go to. But the buffet on, like, Sunday is $30 a head. Last year on Thanksgiving, it was $50 a head. This year, $72 a head, and we were like, we can't do it. So we went out to that place on Sunday, to the buffet, and had a great time. It was really good. And we did that with the family, and that was kind of counted as Thanksgiving. And then Thursday, just, you know, the wife and kids, we went out to Del Frisco's, and you know, it wasn't bad, but it's no Capitol Grill. I even thought El Massimo was better. I mean, like I said, it's not bad, but it wasn't like, wow, this is like really amazing. It was, you know, it was just sort of okay. And they were running out of stuff. Oh, we're sold out. They had a very limited menu. We thought we could order anything on the menu, but the menu was very limited because of Thanksgiving. So we thought we were going to get maybe, you know, this other appetizer or whatever, they just weren't available. It was all hands on deck for all the Thanksgiving stuff. So it was just meh. Probably wouldn't go again to Del Frisco's. What I'd like to do is we'll probably take my daughter, because her birthday is in December. We'll take her over to the Capitol Grill for lunch. We can't afford to go there for dinner, but we can go for lunch. And you can get one of the inexpensive lunch combos, which is amazing, really, really good. But not it. You can go there at night and drop $250 on a steak. It's like, why? No. Yeah, I can go over to Costco and buy some pretty awesome steaks. I could get a tenderloin and a couple of ribeyes for $250. So, no. But it's good to go there for lunch. You can go there and actually get a pretty decent lunch for it's like $26, $28, and it's like a prefix. It's pretty good. Yeah, right. I felt like it was price gouging this year, but Bobby's in the food industry, and he says just food prices are up, way up, and that shows no sign of go. They're like ram prices, right? Everything's through the freaking roof. Remember the time it was on Carson, Frank Zappa was on Carson, started messing with a bicycle he had turned upside down to do something creative. Johnny embarrassed Frank trying to make a point, yeah. Have you had any experience with the Fender American Performer Series? Yeah, I feel like we had didn't I have a Performer? So I think the Telly, was that an American Performer? Was that Telly American Performer or American Pro? I feel like they call them American Performers now. But that was the Hot Shot, which just was the configuration of the pickups. I must have had a Performer here, no? I feel like I might have. Can I do Fender Performer? No. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I have not had a Fender Performer here. I thought for sure I would have had one, but it looks like I haven't. I can go through and I can search my emails. And if they shipped me one, I would have received an email telling me, like, your order is on the way. So I did a search for Fender Performer and nothing came up. I did a search for, like, Fender Professional and a whole bunch of stuff came up. So is the Performer still being made or is it discontinued? Because I can only get current models. I feel like the Performer has the probably a satin neck with the 70s headstock, right? Yeah, you can only absorb the increases for so long before your margins are gone, yeah. Yeah, I had the Ultra Strat, that was HSS, I'm pretty sure. I feel like I might have had at least one other one, but it probably wasn't an American Performer. It might have been, I feel like it was like a made in Mexico model, if I had to guess. Yeah, right, American Professional Classic. So when I wrote in American Professional, I did get a whole bunch of emails, so definitely had a American Professional for sure, but not the Performer. I feel like the Performer might be a discontinued name at this point, but they probably replaced it with something. No, is that what the Professional Classic is now? I don't even know. Performers are discontinued. Looks like they have a. Oh, looks like they have a really good deal going on the Performer HSS. Oh, well, there you go. See if you can. You know, that's what happens. They discontinue them, then they're sitting on a warehouse, full of stock, and it's time to blow them out, right? Clear the inventory. Is the 80s American Pacer Deluxe HSS with coil split better? Better than what? Better than the guitar I'm playing right now? Those guitars, it's more of a nostalgia thing. And, owning a Deluxe, I would say that the controls are a little cramped. I think they should have, if they could have, spaced them out just a little bit more. I feel like the controls are a little cramped. They probably could have just done a volume and one tone instead of two tones, master volume, master tone, and then put that coil split in between. But instead they have two tones and the volume, and they cram that extra switch in there. So it's a little busy. It's a little cramped, Adorama had the black EVH relics. You can get a good deal. Yeah, you're saying you got them last year for $6.99. You can get a good deal. Remember those were $16.99, and people were going, "Why are you dumping on it?" I'm like, I'm not dumping on it. I'm just saying, like, who the hell is dropping $16.99 on this freaking guitar? Especially if you can get the striped one used for that or less, and you can get a brand which they're already beat to shit. It's not like it's got a scratch on it, right? You paid extra for that. The $19.99 for brand new. I was just like, there's so many more features on the full on Frankie one. Like, what are you doing? I said, and I even said in the video, if this guitar was $12.99, I wouldn't even be talking about this. But the bottom, it's $16.99. I can only work with the price I'm seeing. And $6.99 was the right price, though. Now you $6.99, $7.99. Now you're talking. That's right in the zone. You getting a line of guitars coming in or shipping some out? Yeah, I got the last batch already. This is one in the last batch. The Telly, and I think it's, how many more? I shot Monday's guitar today. 2, 3. I have 3 more guitars. Did I buy any toys Black Friday? I did not. I mostly bought for other people. I don't think I got anything. I'm trying to think if I got anything for myself. Not really. No. No, I've been buying up gifts, though. You know. When I think of the Epiphone Back to the Future guitar, it was great. My only complaint is they were limited to 1,985. Right, as a tie-in with the movie. You know, they all sold out instantly. You know, would have been nice maybe if they had more of them. You know, but I guess then they couldn't come up with that number, 1,985. Yeah, the Player 2 Modified series. Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's a MIM Ultra. But like half the price. Sure. Well, you got to remember, Fender is a legacy company, so a lot of people like myself, I wasn't crazy about the Meteora. I was like, meh. You know, I'd rather see, you know, more vintage style Strats and stuff. But that's just me. You think Trogly got one? Sure. I mean, people got them. Instead of a Christmas guitar, you're getting the Helix Stadium XL. Nice. That's awesome. I've been seeing those videos trickle out. And of course, there's the new, is it the AM4? That is out by Fractal. It's got 4 blocks, but it's got amp blocks. So they used to have, like, there was the, you know, it was like the FX4 or whatever the hell it was. It was just FP floor foot pedal or something. I forget the name of it, but it was basically 4 effects. And they came out with that same one, and it's got same thing, 4 effects, but one of the effects can be amp and, you know, and cab. So that's what people were waiting for. It's still, I want to say, $700. If THU is still on sale, you know, they're doing that for like $150. I remember when I first was playing through the software, a dude was like, yeah, you know, you should dump that and just get an Axe-Fx. At the time, the Axe-Fx was like $24.99. I'm like, you can't even be serious. I should dump my $150. You think a $2,500 hardware sounds better than my $150 software? Oh, really? Huh. Yeah, you throw enough money at something, sure. But I could never do that. $2,500. No. Hell no. Rich Hill joined the band, traveling in Europe. He's using a Helix Stadium XL for traveling. He might be getting sponsored for that, right? If he's making a big deal about how he's going to use it and how he's going to talk about it, that tells me he's got some sponsor money coming in. One you can take on the road, one you can't. You could absolutely take THU on the road. I could run a foot pedal. In fact, I got a foot pedal run. I got a foot pedal running into it right now. I got it turned off. Let me just turn it on. Sure, you could run it right through a laptop, right out. Is this on? Maybe not. Oh, it says it's getting. It says it's getting MIDI. Was it not hearing it? Usually it would just work. No? No, it doesn't seem to. Hold on. Do I have to point it? I shouldn't have to. Nope. Right there. Let's see if it works now. Will it work now? That pedal board cost me $50. Plug it into the software. And people will say you can't take it out, but you absolutely can. I saw friggin' in 1987, I saw, what's his name? Chick Corea at the channel. He had a full Mac going with a whole bunch of sequences, and they were all playing to a whole bunch of backing sequences. I could literally watch the friggin' piano roll going by. Yeah, I have an FCB 1010. I'm just saying. You could absolutely take this out. Sure. Now, the FCB 1010 isn't exactly the easiest thing to program. I'm sure I could get a more modern one and be better, but that would cost more money. And, you know, I already spent the $50, so... How much for the Jackson? That's a good question. How much is this Jackson? I feel like they're... what is this? This is the, Origins? Oh, Jesus. Yeah. You know why? Because they're, even if it doesn't say Origins, 7 pages of results. Because even if it just says, like, or, even if it's just partially in there, they're like, well, this has some of the word. Like original. Okay, here we go. $12.59. $12.59. Yeah. $12.59 for the Snow White, the Black, or the Candy Apple Red. Yeah, they had They got, do they have an... They have an open box one here? I don't think they do. I think I'm playing the open box one. They had like one and I got it. Because I work off the open box whenever possible. Not always, but like 90, probably over 90%. Yeah, they don't have any. No, they don't have any open box on the Origins. No, nothing. Nothing. Yeah, no. Nope. All right. Yeah, the red looks very close to the Jack Butler, especially with the maple fretboard and all that, but the actual Jack Butler has like more flake, more like almost like glitter in the paint, versus the one for this is just, you know, metallic. It looks like this paint job, right? Like metallic red, like that. So it's not quite the same as the Jack Butler, but very close. Yeah, also, right, the hardware is a little different, right? Black hardware versus chrome. Always scared of the open box. You know, you can save a lot of money that way, but you got to pay attention to what they designated it as, because if it's open box, that's like one level, but if it's a scratch and dent, it can definitely have some serious chips out of it. I think had a couple here. I think the RG 550 in black had a big chunk out of the bottom of it. It was severely discounted, but it's, you know, some people, there's a lot of guitar players who could never deal with that. And I want to say the Wild Audio had a big chunk out of the bottom too. Those two had like absolutely like the worst damage to them. Usually they're pretty clean and you can't really find anything. The Telly I had last week had the wonky friggin' pickup. You know, that was working later after last week's live show for like a couple of days. Then I went to go use it on some, and it went back to not working again. And I was like, oh, I packed it up. Time to go back. You know, it's just, you know. Where's the Pro Origins made? I'm going to say Mexico. All right. I doubt are they made in Indonesia? They could be. I'm going to guess it's Mexico. Yeah, Mexico. It's not made in Mexico. It's crafted in Mexico. It says it right on the back. Open box or returns, yeah. So open box or returns, someone shipped it and someone shipped it back. But open box is usually, there's like nothing wrong with it. Although that Telly had no visible damage, but that pickup was wonky. Could have been the reason they returned it. The action on that was like stupid high. I've never seen, I mean, I see a lot of guitars. And I saw that, I was like, oh, I can't even play this. And the neck was like really, really, you know, like forward, and I just had to straighten that puppy out. As soon as I did that, you know, that brings the. So you got to remember, if I took that Telly and I laid it down on a table, right, before I adjusted the truss rod, and I took a ruler and I measured from the top of the nut, right, on say the low E side, the top of the nut to the table. Right? And remember, the headstock is not on the table. It's the body's lying flat and the headstock is up off the table. It would measure one height, right? Call that H1. And if you tighten down the truss rod, you would have a new height, H2. That height would be lower. The nut would be closer to the table than it was before you started, right? Because you're bowing the neck back. So as you bend the neck back from being too far forward, as you're pulling it back, you're literally lowering the nut as relative to the body, and that will lower your action. You go too far, and you're going to have, right? It just like literally strings pressed directly against the frets. And some people do that, and then they try to like raise the bridge, but it doesn't work. You'll get it to work from like say here up, and then down here, well, you can't get over the hill. Literally can't get over the hump. So you want it to be not completely straight, but with just a little bit of relief, right in the middle area. A very, very slight bow, and that seems to work in like 99% of situations. I do like the neck on this. Bobby was over here, and he picked it up. He's like, "Oh man, that's nice, huh?" I'm like, "Right?" kind of is. He's like, "I think this might be." It feels like a little flatter in the back than even the Charvels. People need to remember the difference. You don't need to adjust the action with the truss rod, but the truss rod does affect the action. When I see super high action, the first thing I look before I even touch the bridge is the relief on the neck, right? Is it too far forward? Is it too far back? If it's got really high action, it's almost always too far forward, and it needs to get pulled back. And then once that's done, and the neck has its own measurements, right? Using a straight edge and measuring you can just do it with the string, hold it down on the first fret and on the last fret, and kind of like look in the middle and see what you're getting for, right? And you tap that down a little bit, a little tappa, right? You get a little bit of relief in that middle section, right? Because you're holding down on the first fret and you're holding down on the last fret, and clearly there's a little bit of space, in the middle of the neck. Getting that set first before you ever touch the bridge goes a long way. There's an order of operations, and truss rod, I would say truss rod first, and then from there you can adjust the bridge or the saddles if needed. But for the most part, truss rod, it cures a lot of things right out of the gate. If it's off. If it's not off, then you got to look somewhere else. Oh, no, well, the truss rod, nothing wrong with the truss rod. That seems to be, just right. So there's got to be something else, right? The bridge is too high, or the saddles are too high, something like that. Do, do, do. Exactly, and Rod v. Truss. Coffee's really good. That's up. Oh, no, the window's closed, hon. I'm almost done here. I'll open the window for you. Want me to open the window? No, I'm sniffing around. You want me to open the window? Huh? You want the window open? Yeah? All right, hold up. God, I think I'm working for him. Let's see if she goes over. She might. Oh. Open it and they will come. We didn't get any snow, but they're saying we might get some snow. Actually, that window feels really awesome. They say we're going to get some on Tuesday. Yeah, I was up so friggin' early this morning. I think I was napping before I came on here. I was like, luckily I woke up in time. I was up so early because we had to take the trailer up. So you got to get up. You got to get the rakes out. And I had already put the tarp on the top. Got to get it connected and hook everything up and the chains and the hookup. And I tell you, it was nice and empty. No one wanted to go out this morning because it was like about 30 degrees. That's like, what, -1 Celsius. And it was nice and empty at the dump. And I hadn't, what do I want to say, mulched the leaves that were in there. So they were pretty light and able to come out. Put the trailer back and then waited till it got a little warmer out. I went out there and started raking up the last of the leaves. And I got that trailer almost full again. The yard's looking a lot cleaner, though. What about the enemy cat? Enemy cat is on a, he's been on a chemical warfare. He's pissing all over the window. I cleaned the window and Lysoled everything. And I can see that he pissed on it again from the outside. So I have to start my own chemical warfare. I do have some Reaper powder, which I assure you is breathtakingly hot and severe. Like, just absolutely brutal. And I'll probably, I swear to God, I'm going to have to use like a reach your grabber. I don't even want to touch the bottle or be near it. It's so I learned that lesson the hard way. And I'll sprinkle it out around the ground. And maybe that'll be enough. Just the scent of it will be enough to ward them off. Lord knows if he got it on his paws and had to lick that off. That's gonna hurt. How about using Fox P? Well, that might scare my cats out of the window. So we'll see. I feel like I need to use the Reaper. Gotta do a lesson. Gotta teach this cat. Cat likes to sit in the windowsill, even if yeah. No, I feel like it's, what is it? Can I see it? Yeah, I think it's like 30, 34 out. So a little bit above freezing. That'll do the trick. You use it for raccoons, sure. Yeah, they should fear the Reaper. That door, it does feel good, though. So yeah, the trailer. I had the trailer out today. My wife had no voice because she went to hers last night, and the DJ was so loud, she had to yell over the friggin' DJ. She had no friggin' voice this morning. I completely lost her voice. How do you get Fox-P? I got to think you could buy it at probably Tractor Supply place or something like that. Exactly, you squeeze a fox. How else would you get Fox-P? When I've lost her voice, yeah. Be exactly, a little peace and quiet. Yeah. She sounded like Fat Albert's mother. Do-do. Is there anything you're hoping to get at Christmas? You know, someone getting me a thoughtful gift would be nice, but I have no hope. None. I have zero hope. My wife is just get it over with. What do you, just send me a list. Just send me links. It's like, could you put a little thought into this? I don't have time. So, I'm going to, if someone bought me a thoughtful gift, it would be a friggin' Christmas miracle. Yeah, just no hats. Oh my God, the hat debacle. Again, that's a huge red flag right there. At that point, we had been together for, I want to say 20 years. How many times in the 20 years have you ever seen me wear a hat? I can help you with that. 0. The answer is 0. I don't wear hats. Oh, Budman. But he's like, are we opening windows? Buddy's on his medication. I think he's starting to calm down a little bit, but not really. He's got the hyperthyroid. And we'll see. You know. Ever been hunting? No. No. I think we shot a 22 at like camp when we were up to Vermont. I was like 11. I'd say that was about it. A friend of mine used to go, my God, he'd have the tree stock. He'd set up. He was into it. Yeah, so Buddy is in like a chemical war with the male cat. And he went the other day. He could smell the cat had pissed on the outside. And his tail went up, and that tail started shaking. I knew what was coming, and I got a spray bottle. And I could walk over him screaming like, "Stop, stop, stop," and he won't stop. Took one squirt of that spray bottle, and instant stop, and he ran right the frig out of here. A little spray of water. That's all it took. I could hear him running across upstairs. Yeah, Buddy is feeling better. I can hear him up there right now, whining and crying. Yeah, no, Buddy is literally in a pissing contest with that other cat. It's like, no, knock it off there. Have I ever missed a Saturday live show? Not in a long time. In fact, recently we did them. Pretty much not since the pandemic. Even on when I went out to Buckethead, I think I did a late show, right? Even when I'm out. In fact, I have some coming up because I'm going to a couple of shows, but I don't know if they're on Saturday nights. I'd have to double check. But we're doing another Boston Symphony Hall, the Boston Pops. They do the last time it was the music of Star Trek. I forget if it's holiday classics or I forget what they're doing. My wife booked it. It's literally the week between Christmas and New Year's. So I forget if it's a Saturday night or if it's not a Saturday night. I don't know. And then she also she's dragging me out to go to see John Waters, who does a sort of a comedy show at I think it's at the Berkeley Performance Center. And that might be on a Saturday night. I don't even know. I gotta find out. They say Coyote P will keep the other cat away, but supposedly Human P will. I got plenty of that. I'm working on a little right now. My neighbor will see me out there taking a big shit. It's for the cats. You know. What, just urine? Oh, okay. Oh. I know, after 5 years, it's like we have a good group going. So we had here's something going. We had a raccoon living up in the front porch roof where the squirrels were, sort of staking it out. And I scared the raccoon off, which had a bunch of babies, and I literally watched on the camera as she took the babies out of there and moved on someplace else. But the squirrels won't go back up there. They must smell the raccoon, and they won't go back up in there. So the raccoon sort of cleared out the squirrels from going back up in there. Have any obscure guitars? Well, that carotene orange RG560 is pretty rare. You don't see a ton of those out there. And what else is kind of rare? The Fender, the Strat. Not a ton of those out there. But that's not really Japanese. Or, it's the USA made. And certainly, like, if you're thinking of, like, 80 shredders, really, that RG560. Just because of the color. The color is kind of a rare color. I'd say I have a Model 1A, but that's not that rare. They're pretty common, actually. Are Japanese necks smaller? They tend to be, but not necessarily. But certainly Ibanez had really small necks in the late 80s. But only for those lines. Right? Earlier, their necks were more normal sized. Certainly the Charvel necks weren't really much small. They're pretty the same as like Kramer or whatever. Those wizard necks, though, on the Ibanez, but that was sort of like an Ibanez thing. Wouldn't say necessarily Japanese, just that more like just Ibanez was trying to go for a super shred sort of thing. Yeah, you haven't played a guitar for a couple of weeks? Physical? Or you just been too busy? Yeah, that's right. The Kotzen Telly is Japanese, and that has an enormous neck on it. That thing is freaking huge. I also have a rare MIJ Fender that is it's like a 65 reissue, so it's got the binding on the neck, and it's in like aged or antique Lake Placid blue, and that's actually a nice guitar. I wouldn't say that has a tiny neck on it either, but not a huge neck, sort of like a medium C, right? Because it's supposed to be like mid 60s, and you really got to go back to the 50s for the larger Fender necks, and they can get pretty big. Been busy plus sick. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah. My God, it's at 8:55, man. The time flew by, huh? Yeah, feel better. I got a cough here. You can tell it's dry out. That dew point is friggin' low. Dew point out there is like in the teens. That is some dry air. I haven't played any of the BC Rich Gunslingers. I was never a huge BC Rich fan. You know, they really went all in on the Warlock, I feel like, for a few years. And they got away from the Mockingbird and the, and the Rich Bitch. If you come across front and back binding strats, I'm not a big fan of those. I know the ones you're talking about. I think what do they call that? It's like the, it's like the, is it the Shoreline or something? Or like the, I forget the name of it. I know the ones you're talking about. It's almost like a Strat version of the Tele Custom, right? The custom Tele there with the front and the rear binding. Yeah, I was never a fan. I'm just sort of a regular Strat. Your Vola has a big neck, yeah. Vola, when they first came out, had much larger necks. I was not a fan. And consumer feedback told them, I like the look of your guitars. They seem like a good value. I don't like the thick neck on them. And it took a few years, but eventually they went to thinner and thinner necks. And it wasn't so chunky. Some people really like it. I remember I was at, I want to say Dallas. I was at the Vola booth, and the guy there had to go to had to go to the bathroom. He's like, "Hey, can you hold the fort down for 10 minutes while I run to the bathroom?" I was like, "Sure." And a guy came by and he'd picked up like the Aries, not the Aries, the Luna, which was their thinnest neck by far. And he goes, "Oh, no, these stupid thin necks, I can't stand it." I said, "Oh, you want like a thicker neck?" He's like, "Yeah, I can't play a guitar like this." I was like, "Try that one up at the top there," which was their old Blaze. And I knew it had like a neck I couldn't play, an enormous neck. He picks it up. He was like, "Oh, yeah, oh, right, sure." He loved it. He's like, "Now you're talking." I was like, we are very different people. Yeah, I always liked the BC Rich. I thought their Mockingbird was one of their best looks. I always loved the Mockingbird and the Rich Bitch. But they, I really feel like they went heavy Warlock for like a lot of years. Really just went all in on the whole Warlock thing. And, wow, is it 8:59? Yeah, wow. All right, Speaker, good to see you, buddy. We'll have to talk soon. And I think Tony's out of here. Have a good one, Tony. Yeah, we're wrapping up here. It is, it's just turning 9 o'clock. So we will call it a night. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Super extra special thanks. Anyone who contributed. I always appreciate that. And, of course, Brofist to my mod squad. Hashtag Brofist. Hashtag mod squad. Hashtag I got to close that window. It is getting cold. It was so refreshing. Refreshing is turning to freezing. It's time. All right, guys. Check out Monday's video. Had a lot of fun shooting that today. And it'll be out on Monday. And there you have it. And we will do it all again in a week. I'll see you guys all in a week. You guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week, and there you go. And I might have my guitar Christmas song out this week. I was thinking about maybe Friday the 5th, but we'll see. See if I have it done by then. If not, I can, you know. But they say, don't. I used to wait until like 3 days before Christmas, and they tell me, you shouldn't do that. You should release it early. Get more plays. So I'll see if I can get it done by this week. Well, if not, we'll do the week after. All right, guys, you have a great week. I'll see you all next week. And there you go. All right. Later.